Now, Strategic Mobilization Limited is under pressure as operatives from the Office of the Special Prosecutor stormed the company's office in Tema. Now, SML has been at the center of multiple corruption-related allegations, particularly over contracts awarded in the downstream petroleum sector under the previous administration. Now, these same contracts are now key elements in ongoing investigations, including the case involving former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, it remains unclear what specifically the OSP was after tonight. But the raid was forceful. More than a dozen heavily armed officers descended on the premises in a coordinated operation. And my colleague Michael Ashali was at the scene and has joined us in the studio for more. So, Michael, walk us through what happened. What was the scene like at the Tema office tonight?
So, just as you mentioned, yeah, more than a dozen men, but these men came in a lot of vehicles. At the time that I got there were 3 vehicles, all of them black, and then with the police blue and the usual one, the blue and the red light mounted on all of them. But they were not at one place. There was one at the very far end of the company, one in the middle right in front of the gate, and one at the opposite end of it. They should span around 300 meters all together. But after a few minutes, there was some conversation among the men outside, and then they all drove inside the building. Well, in there, it took around 30, 45, almost an hour minutes, then they all came out. That was when I got a full sense of how many people or how many operatives were inside the building. I counted around 5 vehicles in all, fully full, but I couldn't see everybody. There was only one car when one gentleman had just pulled out his hand where I could see that he was wearing a military uniform. But just before that also, there were some men who were wearing suits and others in the police approach. But these men were fully armed to the teeth, I must say. Just when they took their leave was when I approached the building. All this while I'd just been given a warning to stay away. So when I went closer to the building, it was when I tried to find the other. But just before I got to it, I heard one man saying that, well, to wait that it will be that is in tree, to translate it will be that they have taken all the items. Well, I don't know the exact items. I tried to ask. Nobody will say anything. But 2 men who worked out, who volunteered some information, want their identity kept under wraps, told me that at least 3 directors from the Tema office were picked up and were along with the operatives from the OSP. He tells me that at least he was told that they are taking them to the office of the special prosecutor, but he cannot confirm, so he had to drive and follow them. Well, we tried to follow up as well, went to the OSP's office, and, well, no activity of a sort outside of the OSP's office.
Did you ask whether these people have indeed been brought there?
Well, we could not confirm that at OSP's office when we go. The place was eerily quiet, no movement, no vehicles going in and coming in, nothing. But the men at the gate gave us signal not to try to come inside. I mean, at this point, I was wearing my jacket because earlier at SML's office, we were, again, given another warning not to approach the building and not to try to film. In fact, there was a directive that we should dismount our camera at that point. So I definitely understood the message when we go to OSP that don't try to come here.
So we cannot confirm where these 3 directors who have allegedly been picked up are at the moment.
Yes. We are still in contact with some of our contacts within SML. Hopefully, we're to find out what exactly they have at the moment, whether they took more than just these 3 directors, whether, what I heard, whether they took some other items along with them. We'll try to find out in the coming hours.
Thank you very much for that work, Michael Ashali.